Speaking of which, Andrew, we have, I think, 3-4 shows. I must report unfortunate news to you, Andrew. For tomorrow, the individual in question cowered because she saw your debate with Kenzie, and she knew. She didn't say this, but I knew that she saw your prowess. And she pulled out, claiming that she did not want to debate you because despite the debate being incredibly respectful, and very long too, and for it to maintain that level of respect for so long, I'm surprised that she just said you were just too much. Which is why.
I mean, admitting you raped your wife is.
Oh my God, bro! Did you not?
Grape.
Are you
Yeah, grape.
really gonna just do
sorry.
this? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You do TikTok streams. Hello.
I know. I'm sorry.
We
Yeah.
went over it yesterday. We went over it before the show today.
What do
So
you
I think also that's like incredibly like a total buzzkill thing to say at the beginning of the stream.
Well, I mean,
like to
too
say.
much.
Hold on.
Sure. Go ahead.
So we have other panelists here. I think it's incredibly disingenuous to just say that he grapes his wife without providing the fuller context of that conversation.
Yeah.
Mind you, you must have missed the part where Rachel was continuously chiming in through the show, where she's consented to, like, she wakes him up with certain acts, he wakes her up with certain acts.
Well,
you
thank
want
you
to
for adding
you
that
want to
important
insert
context.
you want to insert a buzzword to try to paint this man as a fucking predator and a criminal, and I think that's absolutely despicable, especially at the start of a fucking dating discussion show. I'd like you to apologize to Andrew.
I apologize for my language.
No, it's not your language. I want you to apologize for your mischaracterization, because categorically
Did he
that's
not
not
say
what
that?
he is.
Did he not say
Well,
that?
yeah,
Categorically,
but
that's
you
not
didn't-
what he is.
But here's the
Did
thing.
you
I
did-
saw
did you
it,
say
and
that?
I don't think you were raping your wife.
No,
Okay.
well, no, right? So this is the problem. Is like you can just definitionally. So women named Kinsey who drink water are grapists. By that definition, aren't you a grapist? Yes, right. So that's what you do. You definitionally will say, you and every other normal American married couple on planet Earth will oftentimes wake each other up with sex. It's grape. It's like, it's the most ridiculous thing anybody's ever. They were laughing at you because it's so ridiculous.
I don't think it's ridiculous that one aspect of engaging with someone when you're having sex is that they're conscious.
Oh, anybody here?
I mean, that's
ever
just
had
absolutely ridiculous.
ever been in a couple relationship where one of you woke the other one up with sex? Anyone? No, just me and you. That's it.
Wow.
I ask.
It's good to make sure.
Yeah.
Your
Like if you're
partner's
married
boundaries
to
in
the other
relationship
person.
before you do that.
Why do you want them to be unconscious?
I mean, I don't like my wake. I'm not literally. I don't have the device that puts it in.
Yeah.
But I like
so funny.
wake them up in ways to suggest that I want it,
Yeah.
and then
Do you suggest that you want it, or you actually are like forcing penetration while they're unconscious?
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That'd be pretty hard.
So
I mean,
funny.
you would have
There
to
we
have
go.
a lot of intent to.
Seems like she walked it back.
No, I mean,
Into
most
like-
people in those situations,
Yep.
there's like groping and stuff. They don't usually put it straight on in when they. I don't know how
That's
to
what I
explain
was
it.
thinking,
Like,
They only SA you while you're asleep then. They don't.
and
they don't finish.
if it's in her
What do they do?
definition
What are they doing?
of SA,
Are they just grabbing a boob? Are they
no,
just grabbing?
you can't, like, I don't personally agree. My boundaries in a relationship, I'm okay with that. If someone is
That's
not
cool.
okay with that, then it is SA and grape,
So I'll explain it like this, I guess really simply. If you have given consent to your girlfriend, hey babe, I would like you to, and I will allow you to wake me up with a BJ. Her position is that that woman has just now committed a felony. Would you guys agree that she should be then arrested and placed, I mean, she doesn't believe in prison. Should she then be placed in prison? A girlfriend, your boyfriend says, hey babe, I'd like you to wake me up with a BJ. You fully have my consent. She thinks that that's SA. She thinks that that's a felony.
I
mean,
don't agree with that.
No, let's let the panel
I can
answer.
see where she's coming from. Like,
How are you serious?
no, I'm not saying. I can see what she's trying to say. Like, she would want like her partner to be awake or her be awake before like having sex.
Well, that's fine if that's her standard for her relationship.
Do you think consent should be reversible?
But it's not rape.
And
If they say no and they keep going, that is
So
rape.
you're saying if I
Right.
tell my
Say-
girlfriend,
I'm just asking, do
No,
you think
are you
an
saying
aspect of
nah?
consent is that it's reversible?
so
It is
are you
reversible.
saying that if I
How
tell
can you reverse it if you're
If
unconscious?
he's doing it and you wake up and you don't want to, then just be like, I don't feel like it, and have him stop.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
I mean, imagine you wake up and your boyfriend is having sex with you.
I don't think it starts like
That
that.
you would
First,
wake
it's
up,
like touching.
That for me
like-
would feel
I don't have to
very-
imagine it.
Unless
I
you're
do
on
it all the
drugs or
time.
something.
Very
I think it's
violating
funny.
if he has been.
I don't think you would
penetrating
sleep
me
through that
once.
Are
unless
you
you're on
missing the
drugs.
part? Why do you conveniently omit and exclude the portion where there has been consent given?
Why are you not answering
And
my
how about
question
you answer my
when it
question?
comes to
I'm the
should
host.
consent be revocable?
I know I don't have the mute
So-
button like you do on your bullshit TikToks, but I'm the host, so you're going to answer my question. Go ahead.
So
In the
when-
same way that you bully people in your TikToks, you're going to answer my question. Go ahead.
I'm answering your question.
And I'd
Usually
be
when
much-
you ask a question, you stop talking so someone can answer it.
Go ahead.
Great. So when we look at aspects of consent, I don't think it's just based on being agreeing to an action. There are other aspects of consent when it comes to sex. And one of it is that consent is reversible. If you're unconscious, you can't reverse your consent.
What about a will?
What about will?
A will. Can somebody will you their stuff?
Yes.
I don't understand. They're not conscious. What about their consent?
We're talking about consent when it comes to sex. Obviously, there are going to be
Be
different
cons-
standards when it comes to different aspects that you're agreeing to. Like even medical procedures require an aspect of informed consent. Sex
Well, how do
has
you-
different
how do you
aspects
give
of consent.
somebody the-
Contracts have different aspects.
Yeah, how do you give somebody the ability to make medical decisions for you?
I mean, if you're a power of attorney.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
then you're agreeing that this person, when you're not conscious, can do things with your body.
Sure.
Why
when it
can't you
comes
do
to-
that
when it
with your
comes
wife when it comes to
medical-
sex?
When it comes to medical procedures, yes.
Why can't you
when
do
it,
that
When it
with-
comes to sex,
Yeah.
because I just believe that you have to have that aspect of it being reversible.
Totally inconsistent. How is it that a person can be unconscious on a table?
Again, there are different
they're still
standards when
alive?
it comes to different aspects.
Well, I know that there's different standards, but in order to be consistent,
Yes.
if the one
I
standard
don't
is there,
think no.
yeah, if the one standard is
there
there,
doesn't have to be consistent standards for every single situation.
oh, so you just have
can
inconsistent
be-
standards. That's what you're saying.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
I do think sex has certain conditions that should be required.
Why?
And I
'Cause
don't
you just
know
think so?
why.
You just think so?
Being reversible is unreasonable, or being conscious. Is
Reversible
like,
would be
it's
she wakes
state-
up after she gave you consent and then says stop. That would be reversible consent.
Well, if she's not conscious, she doesn't have the capacity to reverse.
She
it.
already
gonna
gave
wake
you the
up.
consent, just like
You're gonna wake up during sex unless you're on
people
drugs
wake
or
up
something.
with like
And
slight
stay
noises,
asleep.
like, oh my god,
so
I, feel like
imagine
I heard
if,
someone walking.
if you're
and
having
they wake
sex
up.
while you're drunk and then you pass out in the middle. Is there any kind of
I've done
ethics
that.
on continuing to go, like continuing?
No, yeah, being unconscious like after
Then don't
drinking,
keep going. That'd be weird.
That's different.
Well, I mean, you already got consent.
That's different. That's like a whole different like scenario. Like if you're
I
being
mean,
woken up,
it's not.
and you're
You've already
sober.
gotten consent. I just don't know why it's such a crazy take that when you're having sex with a partner that they're conscious.
because
Like,
No,
because
being-
it's an
absolutely
inconsistent.
wild.
being drunk, being like too drunk and you pass out, that's just different from like.
Well, let me
being
ask you this:
asleep.
she's asleep,
Like,
and
you're-
you
you
reach
didn't
over
choose to fall
when you're
asleep,
spooning
you got
her,
so drunk
and you
you
just
passed
grab a
out. Like,
handful of the chest. Is that SA?
No.
Why not?
I think when we're talking about essay within this specific context, like,
She can't consent.
She
If
was
I reached
talking about
over
the
and-
one act of putting something in while
Yeah,
the
but
other
why-
person is unconscious.
That, again, this is totally
Again,
inconsistent.
I think there can be differences between like unwanted touches or unwanted affection
Uh-huh.
versus engaging in sex when your partner's unconscious.
I don't understand. Doesn't a woman need to consent before I grab her chest?
No, I think there
No?
can be. When you're in a committed relationship, I
Uh-huh.
do think that there can be aspects of like understanding each
Just
other's
not that
boundaries.
one?
Not when it comes to like
Why?
bodily integrity.
That's
no.
again
because
not consistent
cuddling
at
and
all.
having sex is different.
Yes,
cuddling
I
and sex-
understand that they're different, but why is the standard different? So the whole idea here is consent.
Because the degree, do you think someone being groped and someone being raped are equal in terms
Do
of
you
trauma?
think from an intersectional viewpoint
just
that
asked
all
you a
traumas,
question.
and I'm answering it, from an intersectional viewpoint, all traumas are not equal? Since all traumas are not equal, a poor
Correct.
woman who's getting her chest grabbed can be just as traumatized as a woman who's been penetrated, yeah?
I mean, obviously it would depend on the person, but
Right.
no, I would say if you are penetrated, that violation of bodily integrity is always going
You
to be
can't
greater.
make a determination from an intersectional standpoint on trauma. Trauma for a woman who's been groped can be just as bad as a woman who has been penetrated. Yes or no?
No, I would always say the trauma from being penetrated is going to be
Based on what? Just some arbitrary standard you made up?
just because of how different your body is in terms of being violated internally versus touched.
Oh, I see. So
There's
not
lifelong damage
So
that
there's
can
not
come
a
with that.
single woman who's been penetrated who's had less trauma than a woman who has been
I
essayed
mean, you tell
or
me,
violated.
you're making the claim.
I'm asking.
I
Didn't claim.
asked and answered.
How can I don't understand. What claim did I make?
You made the claim that everyone's trauma is going to
No,
vary.
I said
and
from an
someone-
intersectional standpoint.
Well, that again, that's your.
Yes, from an intersectional
Where are you
standpoint,
getting that from?
it's literally in intersectional literature that trauma
literature?
cannot be deduced as feminist standpoint theory.
Where?
You can find it in every university in the United States that teaches feminist classes. So in feminist standpoint theory, the claim is made that trauma, you cannot say one trauma is worse than another trauma. How could you do intersectionality if you believe that you could just do that arbitrarily? You can't. So if that's the case, you can't really make the claim this trauma is worse than that trauma because it's going to be dependent on the
It's going to
person.
be a higher degree.
Depending on the person. Yeah?
I think there can be obvious classifications.
Okay, but depending on the person, logically this has to follow. It has to be dependent on the person. One trauma can be worse for them or it can be less worse for them. Yes or no?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then
I mean,
that's complete
I've
nonsense.
I've said the same thing over and over.
Okay, so then you're telling me that, like, let's say a white person, he grows up in like horribly poverty conditions in the South, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a black person who grows up and they have kind of a nice middle class lifestyle, right? Do you think that if that black person is called the N-word and that Southerner is called the C-word, even though clearly, objectively, that white person has a worse standard of living than the black person, that's more or less hurtful for one or the other?
What's the C word?
We
Answer.
don't say it. Oh my
Yeah, I can't say it.
I don't know what
Just-
the C word is.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
don't worry about
wondering
it.
because everyone knows what the
Is
N
it
word
less
is.
or more
I'm just
hurtful?
wondering
I
what's
mean,
the
obviously
C
the
word.
N-word is going to be worse
Based on what?
based on the generational and historic
How could that be
use.
worse on the guy who's middle class, though?
It has nothing because it has nothing to
Hey,
do
hey,
with
whoa, whoa,
class.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Hold on. Hey. Did you forget the part of the conversation where only one person should be speaking at a time? She's speaking. Granted, she's talking way too much than she should be at this point in the conversation. We haven't even gone through the intros.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Well, not really. It's her bad. If people are engaged in the conversation, you guys can't be interrupting other people.
Can I add
Kindly.
something?
Yeah.
I just want to say, both of you guys, it makes sense. Like if you're in a new relationship, you're not going to go and put anything anywhere it doesn't belong. And if you're in a married relationship and you guys both have talked to one another about what is appropriate in your relationship, and you've already decided what your boundaries are, then that seems acceptable, right?
Hey,
Like-
stop using logic and reason. Stop that. This is a Marxist we're talking to. You don't
I
need
do want
logic.
to
You don't
say,
need reason.
one time I did fall asleep.
While doing that?
Right. I was like I was drunk and then yeah, I fell asleep. But why would he see? I want to know what part of it do you like? Do you like the part right like when she doesn't feel it at all? Or
Robert Tanner donated $1,000. Pop champagne. Hey, here is your champagne pop. Hoping this help you out, Andrew and Brian. Message me anytime for help all.
Yo, Robert Tanner, really good to see you in the chat, man. I do appreciate the champagne. Can you bring just the cups and the champagne bottle?
That was quick.
Just give me the whole bag and I'll figure it out. I'm actually denying you and you champagne.
Wait, what? Why?
Denied champagne. Because you're prone to interruption, and if you get liquored up, you're just going to interrupt a whole bunch. You were interrupting, you're not getting champagne either.
Well, I was reacting to her.
Well, you know, sometimes collateral damage, I don't know what to say.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I like this. I like the panel. It's like a panel thing, right? Like where each of us get to kind of chime in because that's
Well, that's what I would like before she hijacked the conversation there rather rudely.
Well, two girls are trying to talk, so maybe like.
Only one person should be talking at a time, regardless of their gender. How about that? All right.
Yeah, why don't you listen to that?
Huh?
Yeah, regardless of their gender and regardless of their.
Wait, when they were having an exchange.
How about? Do you think
Stop.
I'm going to say
You just
anything? I'm not.
interrupted. Stop.
I'm not getting champagne, so I have no incentive.
To participate in good faith in the conversation. When this is your second time on the show, I've already went over the rules with you multiple times. You were interrupting Kenzie when she was speaking. You were interrupting them while they're in the midst of a conversation. You reeled her into your disruption too.
I said, "Can I add?" And this
No. I'm not going to let you get away with that. You said, "Can I add?" after I told you to be quiet and stop interrupting people.
He said sure.
Yeah, he did.
He said
Are
sure.
you guys actually gaslighting right now? So they were talking. Then they started having a sidebar conversation after I justly told her to be quiet and let Kenzie finish talking. Then she said, "Can I add something?"
And then he said sure.
Right, my issue isn't with that. My issue is with the initial interruption. Are you not following? Did you just repeated yourself? Would you like me to repeat myself now? Do you need me to explain it to you again? Let me get you caught up one more time. I don't have an objection to her having done a subsequent, I want to do a follow-up question pertaining to the topic at hand.
This is way more
Now
derailing.
she's
This is
interrupting.
derailing the whole thing.
You know what? I'm the host of the show. I will talk as much as I'd like pertaining to your interruption.
And I'm a guest of your show. Thank you for having me on.
Do you need to be kicked off already? Is that what's going
Better
on?
sooner than later, Brian.
God damn, bro. Mm-hmm. It's like fucking with, I think,
Strong women.
is that what you think being strong is? Is just being obnoxious? How do you define strong?
How do you describe power? Do you think having power is just paying a bunch of women to hang out with you for several hours?
Yes.
How?
Into the microphone.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not, trust me. I ain't paying you. I ain't paying y'all. First off, I ain't paying y'all to hang out with me. We're here doing a podcast, so I don't know where you're getting that from.
Can I respond to you, Lord Brian?
Huh?
May I please respond, Master Brian?
Making sure she don't interrupt.
Who are we passing it to?
I don't know.
Over here?
Do you want some?
Yeah.
I don't want any.
Nope.
Can I have hers, please?
I knew it was a
I'll get mine. I need time.
I don't think I'm allowed.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was.
Do you want some?
Yes, please.
Do you want some?
If we're talking about SA and women are we're the victims mostly of SA, so obviously we're all going to have different things to add so that you can hear our voices, because that's why we're here, right? So that we can give you the female perspective.
I'm not going to allow you.
If
No.
in time
Here.
out.
I'll take it. No. Thank you.
I'm not going to allow you to mischaracterize what happened. She was talking, then you two were engaged in what we call a sidebar conversation, which we specifically tell you not to do. What do both of you not understand about how to engage in a conversation? Answer me that.
Now riddle me this, Batman.
If you were actually talking to us, not like on this podcast, is that how you would speak to me? Because I don't think so.
How would that matter?
How would that matter? What if I talk to you exactly how you talk to me?
Well, do you always talk the same way in a job occupation that you would outside the job occupation?
I understand entertaining,
Well, it's not just entertainment.
but there's something to be
Can
said
you
of
tilt your
just
mic down, please?
degrading, just demeaning.